Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be looking at We Need to Leave Now story. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. My car was stolen the very night I moved into my new house in a very good neighborhood. The neighbors had warned us that the neighborhood was being targeted at the time. They mentioned a woman around the corner that opened the door for knockers in the middle of the night and they attacked her and robbed her. We had reported the car stolen and did the police reports when it happened. Well, 2 nights later, in the middle of the night, I hear a knock on the door and they said, "Open up, it's the police." Well, since I had heard the story about the other lady, I was suspicious and did not answer. I grabbed my kids and put them in my daughter's room because they had access to the roof from the window. I called the police to say that 2 men were claiming to be the police are pounding on my door. They said there were no police in the area and they're sending a car. Turns out these same guys stole the car and came back for seconds. I did get my car back because they brought it with them. Oh, oh, so everything turned out okay. Oh my gosh, if this was me, I would have been in danger because I feel like I would have trusted them. You know, because you made a police report and then the police actually comes. Well, 2 nights later. Years ago, my boyfriend owned a truck tire repair company. He stopped by a customer's house unannounced one day to try to get a check, as they owed a lot of money. When he came out of the house, he was pretty shaken up. He explained the man's numerous other brothers were there. Unusual. Everyone was very jittery, but they cut him a check and then rushed him out. He had a scary feeling that day. 2 days later, that customer and his brothers were arrested for a murder that they had committed the night before we stopped by. So everyone was just there. He could have been in danger. If he found out about something, you know, oh my gosh. Whoa. Whoa. When I was hiking in the woods and saw a baby bear, I slowly turned and walked quickly away from the bear because I'm not getting eaten. I had to drag my friend along with me because he didn't understand why we needed to return the way we came from. Man, baby bear, just go. I mean, baby bears are cute, but the mum will be very, very angry, okay? Was riding my bike home from a friend's house when I was a young teen, over 20 years ago. We had both lost track of time, so it was dusk when I left. Lived about a mile away. Was traveling down one of the last roads to get home when I had this weird feeling, so I turned around to look back down the road. Saw headlights pass, stop, back up and turned on the road I was on. It was a pretty long road without many houses and no street lights or anything. As soon as I turned, I bolted into the woods and hid pretty far in. The car slowly drove by and kept going. No idea what they were doing, but I didn't want anything to do with it. Yes, it's better to be safe than sorry, honestly. I just feel like even if you get a tiny feeling about you being in danger, get yourself to safety first, okay? Maybe they weren't up to anything bad, but who knows? Who knows? I feel like cars that do like a U-turn after going by you is always just suspicious. just keep going, please. Just keep going. Hurricane Florence a year ago. We planned to ride it out as we were on a hill and in an area where the winds wouldn't be bad. Mostly ignored the news too. The night before, I got this huge pit of fear in my stomach and begged my dad for us to go stay with my sister a few hours inland. He fought with me about it, but I finally convinced him. We came back a week later to find a tree fallen into our house. The house full of water. A tornado formed in the woods behind the house and pushed the tree up a 45-degree slope into our roof and through the house. Well, now I will always trust my gut feeling, no matter how stupid it seems. Thank gosh the dad listened, though. Because I feel like sometimes your parents can be pretty stubborn because they feel like they know everything. But they don't, okay? So I'm just glad that the dad listened. Because I feel like sometimes when I try to convince my parents about something, they'll be like, no, it's okay. No. I was walking in my old local park with my sister. We entered it at about 3 p.m. and were hanging around until about 9 to 9:30. We saw 3 people all wearing somewhat similar outfits, all the way on the other side of the park. I immediately noticed but don't think much of it. We walked for about 2 more minutes and I noticed one of them stopped and was staring at us. I immediately had a bad feeling and told my sister we should leave. She noticed and obliged. Later that night, there was a word of an attack in the park, and the suspects were all the people we saw in the group of 3. That's already suspicious. 3 people wearing similar outfits together. I mean, okay, my bad. Maybe I should have worded it a bit better, but like, if you and your friends are like all wearing the same outfit, I would find you guys suspicious. I'm sorry, because I would think the plan would be there's 3 of us And if we all look the same, people will get confused and they don't know who is who. I was camping with a friend in a backwoods camping area. Not very many sites and they were all super spaced out. We had already been there one night, had the site fully set up. We had been hiking all day, the works. We drove into town to get some food, and when we were driving back to our secluded campsite, we passed a man walking out of the only road to our site. We both locked eyes with him and I got a super creeped out feeling. He stared at us like he knew us and hated us. But we had never seen him in our lives. When we got to our tent, we went inside and everything we had in there was tossed. Our bags were dumped out and our clothes were thrown everywhere. We quickly realized both our hunting lines were gone, along with a bunch of our clothes. We also realized it had to be the guy that we saw. There were no other sites or hiking paths he could have been walking from besides ours. We jumped in the car and drove back towards where we had seen him. He was gone. We drove a bit further and found a common area where other campers were gathered. We sprinted down and asked, "Have any of you seen this guy?" and described him. The people at the gathering just stared at us and didn't speak, giving us an even more creeped out feeling. It was at that point that I told my friend we need to leave this place right now. This is like a horror movie. Walking back to our car, we looked over the edge of a guardrail and saw all our stolen clothes in the woods. We gathered them up but didn't find either of our knives. Knowing this guy was still out there with those knives and that no one around us cared freaked us out so much. We packed the car up and ended our camping trip early. No way were we staying out in those woods one more night. I just feel like camping is just risky because people mostly camp in like wood areas, right? Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Because I feel like camping in the woods is just always risky. Like, there might be a bear, you don't know who's out there. I'm just scared in general. Was once at summer camp and was walking to the beach. It's like a 5-minute walk from the cabins we were staying in. And the path to get there is made of sand and surrounded by trees. We were supposed to go in partners, but mine dipped. Anyways, I was walking for probably about 2 minutes and I hear leaves crunching in the trees beside me. So I look over and what I see is none other than a brown bear club lugging a tree. I think that everyone knows that where there's a cub, there's a mama. This bear starts making bear noises. I just about pooped my pants and bolted out of there. Yo, I would be so scared too. Wow, the bear is a snitch. How dare the bear snitch? The bear was like, "Mom!" I was walking by a long stretch of road with no houses. There was a cemetery. A van with 2 guys in it stopped to ask me if I needed a ride. That's the most suspicious, being at a cemetery and 2 guys in a van are like, "Hey, do you need a ride home?" What? This was late in the 90s, so it's not like the hitchhiking was legal. I'm all, "No thanks, I'm nearly home." They wouldn't budge. They kept following me with the windows down, kept saying, "Come on, just get in." At some point they just stop and they start getting out. I was just a teen and they were clearly 20 something. I just took off running. I must have sprinted half a mile to get to an alley and hid by the nearest building near the road. I waited about 15 minutes before moving on to make sure they had given up so they wouldn't follow me home. That is so creepy. That is for sure a red flag. Like someone offering you a ride and then they wouldn't give up when you said no. When I was a preteen, a strange man stopped and asked me for directions that didn't make sense. As I'm trying to help him, a van rolls up and the side door opens. I just booked it and never looked back. Whoa! They had planned the whole thing. Man, this just reminds me of, you know when people pickpocket? There's like a whole team, like 4 people. Like one bumps into you, one asks you for directions, and the 2 are just like, they're trying to take your stuff or something. That's crazy. Was on a second date with a guy who wanted to stop at his house to grab something and invited me in. He was super hot, but I wasn't feeling comfortable with him for a reason I couldn't put my finger on. We get to his house and it was just creepy. He was well off and the house itself was gorgeous, spotless and totally sterile. Nothing on the walls, every surface empty, no books, no CDs, nothing. I asked how long he'd lived there and he said 5 years. While he was in the kitchen, he then asked me to go into his room and grab something. Keys, I think, from the top drawer in his dresser. I got the coldest chill up my spine and immediately stepped closer to the front door. There was no way I was letting him come between me and the exit. Oh my gosh, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Like, is it a trap? He asked me again to go to his room and I laughed and said, "No dude, I'm hungry, let's go." He asked one more time, visibly annoyed at this point, and I proceeded to pretend that I was a stupid girl and made a fuss about being hungry and what the heck was taking him so long. He was pissed. So I walked out of his house down the sidewalk and made him follow me. We got to the car and I kept pretending to be a clueless chick and demanded he take me home. He did, in cold, furious silence. Jeez! That is... Oh, that's so scary! Oh my goodness. I'm so glad she had that feeling and she got out of there safe. Man, these stories are scaring me. While babysitting, I heard the sound of glass being scraped with something metal and immediately hit the children in a walk-in closet. I called the police and very nearly escaped being robbed or worse. Whoa, she had fast reflexes, you know? Fast reaction. She was like, gotta protect all the kids, let's hide. Good on her. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!